Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, it's about like 3 o'clock in the morning, on Friday the 13th, you know? So it's like a week from today is when Trump is going to be inaugurated as far as that goes. And as I was saying, as far as in my vlog around election day, that I kind of said it was bound to happen as far as Trump being elected because of how a lot of people just didn't like Hillary, for that matter. And in a way, I would say that as far as anybody that wants to know who I supported, who hadn't really caught up with my vlogs and all of that sort of stuff, that I was basically a Bernie supporter as far as that goes. And in a way, Bernie, I think if he got nominated at that point, I think my dad, who's a lifelong Republican, would have voted for him. And if he had got the nomination, it would have been basically almost everybody in my family would have voted for Bernie at that point, because one of my brothers is a Green Party voter, and he's always been voted for a Green Party ever since '96, as far as that goes. And the other brother, I think, voted for Clinton, but I'm not exactly certain of all of what other things he had voted on, to tell the truth. And then my mom is basically like a Democratic voter as far as that goes. So, as far as me, as far as my whole record, as far as that goes, I voted for Republican twice at that sort of thing. That was back in 2000 and in '02, I think. When it was for Bush, then it was for Bill Simon. He was that gubernatorial candidate back in '02, I think. But I think I think I might have voted for Feinstein that year in 2000. I'm not exactly sure if I remember voting for her, but it was that long ago, you know. And I was like 19 at that time. So, as far as like the other thing I was going to mention so far, that that I think maybe the one of the other explanations why Trump had won so far was just people just didn't like Hillary, and then the fact there were many people that were Bernie supporters that just gotten upset over the fact that he was robbed of the nomination and all of that, and then took it out on the Democratic Party by voting against the party and all that sort of stuff. And then there's some people who had voted for Trump, like in places like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or Beloit, Wisconsin, or Lansing, Michigan, something like that, that voted for Obama, and then basically was just disenfranchised and disappointed with him as far as that goes, for making these kind of promises that, and that sort of thing, and they voted for Trump, that sort of thing. So I kind of think, as far as that goes, that it's possible that Trump could get this. I mean, could get impeached as far as that goes, because not all of the Republicans are in lockstep with agreement with him. There are some Republicans that just don't like him for some reason, because he's either too conservative or not conservative enough. Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there are some of them that just don't like him because he might damage the Republican brand if he does something wrong. You know, just as much as far as that people, some of the Republicans that didn't like Bush, for that matter, because there are some people that just didn't like Bush. There were any of the Republicans that didn't like Bush because he was just too conservative or not conservative enough, or some of them that just think he's a fucking idiot. Yeah, that sort of thing. There's some of them that just think he's a fucking idiot, and and see that he's just taking orders from Cheney and all that sort of stuff. But then, that sort of thing. And I think this is like the same thing that's gonna really happen again. It's like another person who's like being a figurehead, a president. And then the vice president is really the one that's calling the shots here, especially like with Mike Pence. Because Mike Pence has a little bit more political experience than Trump. And it's like the same way with like Obama, because like Obama didn't really have a whole lot of political experience as far as in the national stage, because he was only like senator for 4 years and then become president and all this, and then have Biden, who was also a senator who was like a senator for 30 years, I think. That's how it goes. But it depends on how things are going to go as far as in the next year, as far as that goes. Next year is the midterms, and as far as that goes, if the Democrats play their cards right, they can win back the Senate and win back the House as far as that goes. But on the other hand, I kind of think that maybe it's just that the public thinks that the Democrats are not liberal enough as far as that goes, and that sort of thing. But it all depends on how things are going to go in the midterm. But it's like the midterm election next year is that the Democrats are more obligated to win because of the fact that they're the party of opposition, to the president. And that's basically how it is. It's like if the president belongs to one party there and they win, then then whoever's the opposition party is the one that wins the midterm. And that's basically how it was. And then normally the president would usually lose seats in the House or lose seats in the Senate, but sometimes that isn't really the case, because sometimes it could be like some presidents could like gain House in one chamber but lose houses in the other chamber, like Reagan or Kennedy or something like that. And there are some that basically had just gained both, which was like Bush too. And then Bush 2 has won those seats like in 2002 simply because of 9/11. If 9/11 hadn't occurred, he would have lost a couple of seats in the House or in the Senate, as far as that goes, automatically. Because some people would have automatically gotten disappointed with him very early. And that's basically what happened with Obama at that point. Everybody had gotten disappointed with him really early on. It was like he wasn't even in office his first year, and everybody had gotten disappointed in him, and where his approval ratings had dropped to about half, I think. But I think his lowest approval rating was maybe was 41, 42 or 43, I don't know. I'm not exactly certain about that sort of thing. But then the highest was 66 or 67, I can't even remember about that, but that was almost how it was with JFK at that point. And then hers with the Congress, it's the Congress's approval rating is 8 or 9%, which says something. So I don't know what's going to really happen, if it's going to be to the point where Congress has an approval rating of 3%. By the end of this year or by the end of next year or something like that, you know. But it's gonna be funny that's gonna happen, that sort of thing. Congress has a 3% or a 2% approval rating. 98% of the people disapprove what Congress or something like that. So then what's gonna happen at that point? How we're gonna change that sort of thing? Which that just makes me kind of wonder. But I think for starters, what something that could change that would be term limits, I think, in the Congress, because then we have like a lot of Congress people there that been there for like 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years practically, you know. Yeah. And the same way as far as in the Senate, you know. We have like people that have been in the Senate for like 20 years or even 30 years practically. You know, and when we should have like maybe have them like be there for like 2 terms in the Senate or 6 terms in the Congress as far as that goes. I mean 6 terms in the House, I should say. But I mean we already have like term limits in the state assembly, you know, it's like 12 years either Senate, I mean either state assembly or state Senate, you know. And we have like a 2-term limit as far as for the governor and that sort of stuff. But it makes you kind of wonder what's going to really happen with the gubernatorial election next year. But who knows? But in a way, it's like, I don't know if like any kind of Republicans could win the governor's chair as far as that goes. But the only way they could win it as far as that goes is if they embrace marriage equality, embrace immigration reform, and all that other stuff, you know. And that's probably like the only way they can win those kind of win in the state level, as far as that goes. And if we're talking the entire state voting as a whole, you know. But who knows, really? Who knows? So, anyways, guess that's probably it. Until next time.